अच्छा लाइव सेशन 15. ओके लाइव सेशन 15 गॉट इट कर दूं गॉट इट शेयर स्क्रीन विंडोज चैप्टर वो आया नहीं वो कैंसिल करके फिर से कैंसिल फिर से स्कैर करना है कि देखता हूँ विंडोज देखता हूँ नहीं फिर से कैंसिल कर देता हूँ कैंसिल करके एक बार एक स्लाइड पे क्लिक करके मतलब स्वाइप अप करो ओ एक मिनट है ठीक है अभी स्कैर फिर से करूँ क्या कैंसिल किया ना या स्वाइप अप करना स्वाइप अप या इंट्रोडक्शन आ गया ओके फिर वापस से उस पे क्लिक करके एक बार हाँ क्लिक किया आ गया वापस से स्वाइप अप करके शेयर स्क्रीन ओके शेयर स्क्रीन विंडो इंट्रोडक्शन ओके थैंक यू chapter and Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter called as Purushottam Yoga. For better understanding and easy assimilation of the subject matter, we will have this chapter in 5 phases. In phase 1, that is mention of this material world, which is the topsy-turvy of the spiritual world. We will explain about it. And phase 2, we'll see the transmigration of the living entity, how from one body to another one goes, and who can perceive it, who cannot perceive it. Wow. And the third chapter, we can see, the third phase, we will see how we can see Krishna is not only maintaining our body, but also the sloka 12 up to 15. And the summary of the Vedas and the Vedanta is given in text 16, 17, and 18. And knowing Krishna, one knows everything, is given in slok 19 and 20. So let us dive into this wonderful seeing the unseen Purushottam in this material world. We see the body, we see the world, but Krishna is teaching in chapter 13 to see the soul and super soul, which is unseen, to see the 3 modes of material, which is unseen, to see Purushottam in this world that is being mentioned. Phase 1, Krishna is saying about the material world. Wow, let us dive right into it. For better understanding and easy assimilation of phase 1, we will have it in 2 subsection. Subsection 1, we'll see the material mind world is the upside down, topsy-turvy of the spiritual world. It's like a upside down banyan tree. Branches are the planets, and the 3 modes of material nature are the watering twigs, watering process, and the twigs are the sense objects, and the secondary roots are the fruitive activities. And we have to come out of this realm of material world, that is by cutting the tree of material world with the acts of detachment and surrender to the Supreme Person of God, thus attains spiritual world. That will be very nicely explained, chapter slok number 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let us proceed further. Material world is upside down. So Srila Prabhupada very nicely explains that in this material world, everything is upside down. Like in this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there is bliss, there is happiness, increasing, increasing, and increasing. Whereas in the material world, it's a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Instead of happiness, there is misery, misery, misery. So the material world is compared to the reflection of a banyan tree which is near a river or a lake. So what is happening is the reflected image of the real banyan tree. We see that the root is up and the the main stem is going down, branches are still further down, and there are leaves and the fruits which are very down. So it's a perverted reflection. Once a man was sitting and he was very upset. So the sage was passing by. He said, "What happened, my dear man?" He said, "Oh, Sage, Babaji, you all are all detached, so I can speak my heart to you. You know, the princess, she lost the precious necklace. Yeah, I heard about it. So what? Are, I can see it. And for more than 50 times I made it. I'm not getting it. Then said, "Where you see that the necklace? You mean to say you are seeing it in the lake water?" Yeah, that, yeah, even I can see. But my dear friend, this is just a reflection of the real thing. How much ever you jump into it, what you will get is only pain and misery. The real, the real necklace is not inside the lake. Inside the lake, yes, what you see is just a reflection. The real thing is up. And he looked up, yeah, really, it was shining. And he thanked the sage. The point is, we are also trying to find happiness, jumping into the material activities, jumping into the pool of material activities, and we are in a miserable state. A sage comes and says, yes, yeah, it is fine. Happiness is there, but the real happiness is in the spiritual world, and that we can achieve by climbing the tree. That is taking the real process of attaining Krishna consciousness, attaining happiness, that is Krishna consciousness. And by climbing, 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 a day will come, we'll get the real necklace. So the man was happy and he got the real necklace. And similarly, many people in the material world were trying to get happiness. Prabhupada and saints like Prabhupada helped people like hippies into happies, rishis into rishis, chinis into muni. So let us dive into this wonderful section of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, subsection 1. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Once again, Shri means beautiful, Bhagavan means important. Whenever Vyas Muni says that Shri Bhagavan Vacha, it means that the most important person is going to speak. That means we have to, he is going to speak something important and we should pay utmost attention, topmost attention. Take your mind from wherever it is and place it on every word, every sentence, every paragraph, every chapter, every paragraph, every line, every word, every letter. Carefully, it will uplift our consciousness. Urdham Mula Adashakam Asvatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved. Hey Partha, son of Pritha, just see, there is, it is said that there is the imperishable banyan tree that is the reflection of the real banyan tree. It is also it is also imperishable, and that has its root upwards and branches downward. So it is clear it's a reflection. And whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. And one who knows this tree, the reflected tree, uh, reflected world of the reflected reflection of the spiritual world, the powerful reflected world of material world, is a knower of Vedas. So knower of Vedas and should understand that this material world is reflection of the poverty reflection of the spiritual world. And happiness is there, but here it's only misery. Dukkalema Shashwan, it's already mentioned. Adascha urdam prasritastasya saka guna pravida vishaya pravala adascha mulani anusantatani karmanubandhani manushya loke. The branches of this tree, okay, branches of the trees extends downward and upward. It goes down and up, nourished by the three modes of material nature, which was explained in chapter 14. And its tender birds are senses, ears, nose, yeah, tongue, skin, and eyes. The tree has its roots going downward. Yeah, that is from the branches. There are roots going downward, and are the these are bound to the fruitive action of the human society. Its root, its root is in Brahmaloka, and then it goes downward, downward, downward to this world. The living beings desire sense enjoyment and work to obtain it. Yeah, mode of passion. And these desire to enjoy, they want money, sweeter than honey. They want 10 rupees. When 10 rupees they get, they want 100 rupees. 100, they want 1,000, then 10,000, then continue to 1 lakh, 10 lakh, then it goes on and on and on. These increases their desire and they work even harder to get the variety of new sense objective. Once they get this beautiful woman, they want another beautiful woman. So they get this kind of eating item, they want another kind of eating sense enjoyment. So they want higher quality of sense enjoyment. So it continues. Therefore, there is a competition between increased material desire and increased sense object. It's going on and on and on. It's like cannot be stopped. Due to this competition, the material world is also increasing, increasing, and increasing. In this way, the roots of the tree spread all over. It's increasing and increasing and increasing. Basically, it means that people become more and more and more miserable and miserable. The point is, we have to cut the material tree of material world with the acts of detachment and surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus attain the spiritual world, which is explained in Slok 3, 4, 5, and 6. Beautiful. Let us dive into it. Understanding that there is no end to this miserable world and there is no end to this material desire. At one point, we should say no to material desire, no to material world, no to material activities. Narupam asya iha tatopla avyate nanto nachadir nacha sampratishtha aswataminam suvirda moolam asanga sastrena dridena chitva. The actual form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. It's an imaginary, like, analogy given by Krishna. So you cannot see this in them. No one can understand its beginning also. Na anta chadirna sampratishta. We cannot understand where it is beginning, but we are into it. And where will it end? That we cannot find it. Or what is its foundation? Asvathamena suvidamulam. Wherever we are, we should take these acts of detachment, asanga sastrina, dridina chitva, and sharpen it with determination and cut this strongly rooted tree with the acts of detachment and and sharpen it with discrimination. Continue. No to material desire, no to material desire, no to material desire, no to enjoyment, separate from Krishna. So, tata padam tatna parimargit avyam yashmin katvana nivartanti bhuya तामेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यथा प्रावृत प्रास्वीत पुराणी. So why this material desire, material activity, and material world is described? Because it is only because of material desire we are not able to see the unseen Supreme Personality of Godhead. To see the unseen Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should cut the material desire, one should cut the material activities, one should cut oneself from the material world. The axe must be sharp because the mind tends to run again and again to sense gratification. Therefore, one must speak a place from which, having gone, one never returns. So we should go to the spiritual world. Once we reach that, we will never ever come again to the material world, because we will see uh, so much bliss, so much happiness, that we will not even think of going to the material world. If a beggar is eating dry bread every day and he gets a sumptuous cake, next time you ask, will you take? You will not even think about that dry cake. You will just go dry bread. You will go for the cake. Similarly, so much happiness is in the spiritual world. They will never ever think of coming to the material, painful, hopeless, useless, helpless world. Their surrender to the Supreme Person of Godhead, from whom everything has become, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, everything comes, and from whom everything has extended from time immemorial. Arjuna asks, Oh Krishna, what are the qualification of one who goes there and never returns? Tell me, Krishna, tell. I want to know that, so that I can, when I'm preaching, I can tell them, take this qualification and cut down the material activities and go to the spiritual world. What kind of devotees attain this spiritual world? Tell me, so that I will tell people and encourage them to take up Krishna consciousness. You want me to do the brand ambassador of Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga? Yes, I will do that. Already I'm influencing people and I will give them knowledge also. So Krishna says, Nirmana mohajita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandir vimukta. World has been mentioned, the material world has been mentioned, but the point is the material world has been mentioned, and the material desire has to be cut. Unless and until ever get we will never ever understand the Supreme Person Godhead. Oh Arjuna, those who are free from false prestige, nirmana moha, illusion, false prestige is, oh, I have become great. No, no, we are not great. It is Krishna who is great, and Krishna is making us great. I am not great. Illusion that I am doing something. No, it's not. I'm speaking because Krishna is allowing me to speak. I am walking, talking, moving my hands because Krishna is allowing. Come out of this illusion. Yeah. False association, those who are not helping us to become a better devotee, come out of it and understand Nirman Moha Jita Sangha Dosha Adhyatma Nitya. Understand the eternal and Vinivritta Kama, this lust, the greatest enemy, has we should be free from that lust. With the divine knowledge, we should cut the material lust. They explain in chapter 3, who are freed from the duality of happiness and misery. Like the farmer, again I will tell the story, is whatever happens, happens for good. Yeah, favorable, unfavorable. And who know how to surrender to the Supreme Person can attain. That is to approach a spiritual master and serve him and thus take his blessings and proceed. So this is the qualification required, and one can do that. Oh Krishna, you're talking about going to the eternal kingdom, the spiritual world. What is the nature of the spiritual world? I want to know that so that I can explain it to the people whom I'm going to influence or inspire. When they ask, what will I say? So tell them, Arjuna, na tad bhashayati suryo, na shashanka na pavaka, yad gatva na nivartante, tadhama paramam mama. Arjuna, tell them that my supreme abode is not illuminated by sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. And Natat Bhashati Suryo Nashashanka, those who reach it will never return to this material world because they will find so much happiness, they will never talk about material world. That abode is my own form, Sachidananda Vigra, eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge, and it's very beautiful. The illuminators of this world, fire, bulbs, are not required there. Cannot give light to that place. That abode is my very self and is the destination of all surrendered souls. Going home back to Godhead. In this way, Krishna is going to tell we should, if we want to see the unseen Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushottam, we have to detach with the axe of detachment, cut the tree of material world. Then we can see the unseen God. So in this way, the beautiful chapter, phase 1, we see that take the acts of detachment and cut the tree of material world so that we are qualified to see the Purushottam, the unseen. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we will see only pain and misery of this material world in one body to another body. And this is only a struggle. Instead of bliss, instead of happiness, we will only see struggle, transmigration. Okay, purview. So we see, for better understanding is the assimilation of this struggle in this material world. We will see in slok 7 and 8 that Jiva is a part and parcel of Krishna, but struggling to be happy with his 5 senses, mind, and changing one body to another. Who can see the transmigration is given in subsection B in sloka 10 and 11. So let us dive into it and see what Krishna has to say, how we are struggling. Mama, mam, mamai amsha jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatanaha, manah sashtani indriyani, prakriti stani karsati, prakriti stani karsati. So that about is mind, that is the spiritual world. But the living being in the material world, when it does not cut with the acts of determination, the material world, uh, so they struggle in this world, this material world. Living entities are my eternal fragments, but due to the conditioned life, due to the hatred with me, they will, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Mansastani Indriyani. Pull the mind and the senses around with them like a man whose leg is bound by a iron chain must drag it around wherever he goes, wherever he goes. Yeah. So it's a big struggle to be happy in this material world. At the end of the day, we realize it's only struggle, but there is no happiness. Mame amsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Yakcha api utkrama ti ishvara grihitvaitani samyati vayurgandham evasate. The living being in this material world carries different perception of life from one body to another, like air carries aroma. It takes one kind of body and it gives it and takes another. Like the air is going from garden of roses then to garbage. So it carries the fragrance of garden for some time, then throws it away, carries the the bad odor of the garbage for some time, throws out and continues. Similarly, the soul along with super soul along with mind intelligence false ego leaves one body and takes another body, leaves one body and takes another body, according to the uh, uh, yeah, third desires. Oh Krishna, why does he carry his senses with him? What does he do with them? Okay, so suppose somebody wants to eat, then a subtle body of a pig is born, the mind intelligence and false ego. And after leaving this human body, he gets a body of a pig. And in the pig body, then another body. So along with senses, the hearing, eyes, touch, and the taste, he goes on and on and on. Shotram chakshus parshnam cha rasnam grahanam evacha adhistaya manasjaivam vishayan upasevate. He's just able to see the object of senses and experience. Uh, the soul takes another gross body, then certain kind of ear, eye, nose, tongue, touch, skin, sense of touch, which has grouped with the mind with the purpose of enjoying that kind of object he wanted. So in this way, he is not determined to cut the imperishable banyan tree. He will not able to see the unseen God. Why does he, one, not see this occurring? Not really seeing the God, he cannot even see is that he is transcending from one body to another to another. So that will be explained here. Who can see and who cannot. Utkramantam sthitam va Pashyanti jnana chakshusha. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity cutes the body, nor they understand what kind of body he enjoys under the spell of modes of nature. But one whose eyes is trained in knowledge can see this. About this, Krishna, yeah. Yatanta yoginascha nam pashyanti atmani avasthitam yatanto apyakritatmano nainam pashyati achetasa. I can give them knowledge. By the knowledge, they can see philosophically. The enduring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose mind are not developed, who are not situated in self-realization, cannot see this taking place, though they may try. So one has to take this knowledge and endure to serve the spiritual master and take his mercy, and by the mercy he will get the transcendental knowledge and advance in Krishna consciousness and see the transmigration of the body. Oh Krishna, oh Keshava, what is the cause of those with knowledge but being able to see, and those without knowledge not able to see? Arjuna, the person without knowledge, has been engaging himself, has been engaged in material enjoyment for time immemorial. He is unable to feel the existence of his own soul. He thinks that he is not soul, he is the body. And he has to enjoy this body to the max. That is what is goal of life. He cannot see the soul within the body. He is not bothered to clean the heart, Chetu Darpan Mahajan, by chanting and hearing. So even if he endures, the knowledge cannot arise in that impure heart, because its heart is impure. With impure heart, one cannot understand self. Forget about seeing Purushottam. Oh Krishna, is there a way that those without knowledge can also see you? Not everybody is going to be a knowledgeable person. Yeah, with little intelligence, yes, Krishna, he says we can. So for better understanding is the assimilation of phase 3. We'll have it in 2 subsection. In subsection A, slope 12 and 13, we'll see Krishna is the maintainer of the cosmic level. And subsection for B, we will see that is a maintainer of our at the personal level, 14 and 15. So let us dive into it. It's really very, now we are going to see the Purushottam or feel the Purushottam, yeah. And Yadaditya tejo jagadvashati akilam yakchandramsi cha yakchagno tatteja vidhimamakam. When you see the splendor of the sun, we should understand this universe is like a big room, and in this room, a small room, we have a bulb. Then we understand the bulb is switched on and the whole room is illuminated. So we understand this bulb has been put by a small electrician. So this big universe is a big room, and there is a bulb called sun. So it must be put by a big electrician, and the big electrician is none other than God. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness in the whole world, comes from me. the splendor of the moon. When we put the dim light, we understand in the room, it's behind this is a small electrician. But this whole universe is a big room, and there is a dim light like moon and star that must be put by a big electrician, and that big electrician is none other than God, Krishna. The splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fire are also from me. In the morning, the sun rises in the east, and it allows the living entities to see the objects which they will enjoy. The objects of all good and bad activities are revealed through the sun. And that sun is given to this world by me. So in this way, therefore they should understand the light in the sun is mine. Gradually they will understand who is that electrician. That electrician is a Krishna. Gama Vishacha Bhutani Dharyami Am Ojasa Poshnami Chosati Sarva Soma Bhuta Rasatmaka. We see that in a road where vehicles are moving, many vehicles in many directions, and there is a crossroad and 4 crossroads, but still everything is going smoothly because the traffic police standing, the traffic system is there, the light is there, cameras are there. It is not happening automatically. There is the people behind it, and they are working hard, so everything going smooth. So we see the big universe, so much, many planets are going, uh, and they are in their orbits and they are moving, but there is no much chaos. That means there is some electric, there is a traffic controller, some controller is there, making sure that planets are not crashing and creating chaos. So that if we see, then we can understand, for this small city we require a traffic controller. For this big galaxy we require a big traffic controller, and that is none other than Krishna. Paushnami Chosadi Sarva. All these opulences are coming through my powers, and they should remind the living being of me. I also enter, Krishna also enters the earth, which is like a fistful of dust, and hold it together so that it supports Krishna. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So all the vegetables are getting, who is putting juice into the coconut, who is injecting sweet syrup into the grapes skin. Childhood we used to play holy, and we used to put water into the balloon and throw it on people. But the small grapes, who is putting this? The orange, who is putting the juice? The mango, who is putting the juice? So the juice is coming the from the moon planet, and it's through the rays it goes into the leaves, stems, branch, and the fruit is juicy and tasty and sweet and full of life-giving power. So Krishna, not only at a universal level can be perceived, we can see him as a maintainer at a personal level also. Okay, we get whatever we want, juicy and tasty vegetables and fruits. When we eat, how it is being digested, that Krishna is saying now, Aham Vaishvanar Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Pana Samayukta Pachami Annam Chaturvida. So we eat 4 kind of eatables. One that is has to be chewed, pizzas. One that has to be licked, that is ice creams. And one which is has to be sucked, that is cold drink, uh, like lemonade with straw drink. And one that has to be licked, uh, ice cream is there, that is we are licking. And one that has to be sucked, yeah, like pickles. Aham Vaishwanav Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritam. So we eat 4 kinds of eatables, but when what happens in the stomach? Who is digesting it? there is a fire of digestion which is called Vaishvana. I am the fire of the digestion in the bodies of all living beings, and I join with the air of life to digest the four kind of foodstuffs. So at stomach and above stomach, we have got the heart, and in the heart, Krishna resides and helps us to remember and forget not only spiritual things and material, also material things. Sarvasya chahamirdi sannivishto matasmite gyan apohanam cha vede cha sabiraham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham. I enter into everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness. If we say, oh, please help me, please help me, please help me, I don't know who I am. I don't know why I am suffering. I don't know, but please help me. Please guide me. The super soul will hear and give the remembrance by sending devotees, folks, spiritual master, etc. But the cry should be sincere. Remembrance will come. And if we say, oh, who is this God? Why is he interfering with my enjoyment? Then forgetfulness of God will, the super soul perceive, and okay, you don't want to understand God, forget him. There is no God. God is old. God is sick. He's got no control. All these I do for the ignorant being who want to enjoy this temporary world. However, for those who want liberation, Krishna, I am the compiler of the Vedanta, which explains the purpose of Vedas. I am the object of the Vedic knowledge, and I am the knower of the Vedas. For I, it is me, as Vedvyas was compiled the Vedanta. Is a Krishna as Vedvyas is the compiler of Vedanta, and he explained the purpose of the Vedas. The object of Vedas is to we already is to know Krishna. Oh, Krishna, you are saying that you are the object of Vedic knowledge, but others have different opinion. They don't think that you are. Oh, Arjuna, I am Vedavid, the knower of the Vedas. As Vedvyas, I have given the meaning of to the Vedic literature. No other meaning is proper. I am the giver of liberation. I am the supreme controller and the knower of the Vedas. Therefore, one should take shelter of me. Oh, Krishna, since you are the knower and compiler of Vedas, please explain the real purpose of the Vedas, oh my Lord. So in this way, Krishna is coming to telling Arjuna to see the unseen by little intelligence and with the surrendering and giving, one can understand Purushottama. Yeah. So the fourth section, we'll see it in three subsection. The two kinds of living entity, which is explained in Sloka 16, and Super Soul is explained in 17, and Lord Krishna is explained in, that Purushottam is explained in Sloka 18. Wow. There are two kinds of living entities. One is Loke Sharakshara Evacha Shara Sarvani Bhutani Kutas, and this is called the three Sloki Bhagavad Gita. There are two kinds of classes of being, fallible and infallible. In the material world, everything, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living being is infallible. That means one, fallible means those who get tempted to the objects of senses, and infallible is those who are not ever, one who never ever lives Krishna consciousness, is always in Krishna consciousness. And fallible means one who never is able to be in Krishna consciousness. Beyond these two kinds of people, there is the third kind of people. Uttam Purusha te anya Paramatmeti udharata yo lokotrayam avisha bibyarti abhay Ishvara. Beside this two, that is the greatest living personality, that is the super soul, imperishable, the Lord Himself, who has entered into the three worlds and maintaining them, is Shirodaksha Vishnu. And that is explained in slok number 17. And above them is Krishna. Okay. Yashmat Sharu Atito Aham Aksharadapi cha Uttama Ato Asmin Loke Vede cha Pratita Purushottama. Because I am transcendental, beyond both fallible and infallible. Because I am the greatest, I am celebrated in this world, in the Vedas, as the supreme person. So Purushottama. One who knows Krishna, one who knows Supreme Person of Godhead, he knows everyone, everything. So wow, Yo mameva masamudo janati purushottama sa sarvaveda bhajate mam sarvabhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Person of Godhead without doubting is a knower of everything, and therefore he engages himself in full devotional service unto me. Oh Krishna, you have explained this point very clearly. Still, people may argue who is the Supreme? What is the reason for this? Because Naham Prakasha Sarvasa Yogam Iti Guhyatamam Shastram Idam Uktamaya Naga Etad Buddha Buddhimana Shat Krita Krita Bharata. They are bewildered by Maya. Even if such persons have studied the Vedas, if they do not understand that I am the Supreme, then they are simply fools. However, my devotees, even if presented with strong arguments which state that I am not the Supreme, they are never bewildered. My devotees is considered to be knowledgeable, even if he has never read or studied the Vedas, because he knows the essence of the Vedas. Such person may some people may have the name Ashwakarna, but that person does not really have the horses ears. Ashwakarna. Somebody do not think that I am named Purushottama just like that. One who knows me as truly Purushottama is never bewildered. One must understand this as I have explained it myself. One who understands the meaning of these three verses is all knowledgeable, Sarvabid. He knows the topmost purpose of Vedas and worship me with all his heart. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures that I am revealing. Iti Guhyatam Shastram. These three Vedas is called three Shloki Shastras. I have spoken them to you because you are my supreme devotee. Do not speak them to unqualified people, Arjuna. However, when a faithful person hears them, he will become realized and his endeavor will know full perfection. O Arjuna, understand this. With this divine knowledge, you can see the unseen, the Supreme Personality of God at the Purushottama in this world. Use this divine knowledge to see the Purushottama. And thus, the divine knowledge which Arjuna is crying for in the second chapter make others devotee, be happy and make others happy, and please Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So thank you very much for being with us, and Krishna bless you all. Hare Krishna. Thank you, thank you.